Hello folks, today I'm going to be giving you my take on this little puppy right here. It's a 4K self-tracking AI drone. And yes, like the thumbnail says, I will be including the one and only crash that I've had so far with my drone that took place from a 2-story building. But before I do, let's talk about the 3 most common questions that I get whenever I show off my little drone to my friends. The 3 are price, range, and flight time. Alright, the price. Seeing that most drones come in at a very hefty price, well, not this one. This one clocks in at just 200 bucks, and seeing that everything that this little drone can do for 200 bucks, that's pretty impressive. And now the second most common question I get with my drone is range. Just how far can this reach? Well, you can expect to get a range of 50 meters or 160 feet and all the way up to 10 kilometers. Now, I know that's a pretty crazy range, so I'll explain a little bit more later in the video. And the third question is flight time. Just how far can you fly on a single battery? Well, as you can see here, I popped one of the batteries out, and you can see they're a pretty tiny battery. So DJI says you can get a flight time of up to 18 minutes, but just like any electronic device, it will depend on how you use it. How aggressive and how much winds there are will really make a difference with your flight time. Now, if you are a noob or a beginner, just like me, this little drone could be perfect for you because as you can see, it has nice little prop guards around the props. So if it does bump into something, you don't have to worry about, you know what, hitting the fan. And by the way, welcome to my channel. It's Hot Take. I'm David. Now, why is there so much buzz being created with this little drone online? Well, in this video, I'm going to be letting you know what works really well and 2 minor issues that I've come across, but I've figured out a workaround. And maybe DJI will address them if they ever do release a DJI Neo 2.0 or release a firmware or software update to fix these issues. Now, to be honest with you, I never really got the whole drone thing. I mean, you go up, you take some pictures and videos, and you come back down, and I never really bought into the whole drone thing. But when I'd casually shown my girlfriend a YouTube short of the Neo on David Moss Jr.'s channel, if you haven't heard of him, you should really check him out because he's on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and he has some really cool content. My girlfriend said to me, "Oh, we should get that." And boy, am I ever glad that I got it because it is a really cool factor to it and it's a lot of fun. Now, one of my favorite things about this is just there are so many different ways you can fly it. You can palm control it, you can phone control it, and you can remote control it, and you can use a motion controller with the goggles, but I'm only going to be talking about 1, 2, and 3 because those are the only experiences that I have with using it. Alright guys, so let's take a closer look at 1, 2, and 3. Now the first way to fly this is actually not to fly it at all. You just put the drone in the palm of your hand and it'll take off and it'll use AI to track you wherever you go. This is one of the features that I use the most, and I kind of think of this as a cute little puppy mode because it'll follow you around wherever you go, except you don't have to worry about it running off and getting lost somewhere. And the second way that you can fly the drone is by using your cell phone. Now, you don't have to buy anything else. Software is all free, and it doesn't matter if you have Android or Apple, DJI has got you covered. And number 3, the final way that I'll be covering on how you can fly the drone is through a remote. Now, this is not necessary, and this is extra, but I got this when I bought the Fly More Bundle Kit, I think it's called. And by using the remote, you'll have a lot more capabilities with the drone, and you'll be able to go a lot faster too, which I'll show you in a little bit. So what makes this little toyish drone stand out from all the other drones that I've seen before? Well, in short, and like I already touched on, you don't have to fly it. I mean, you can if you want to, or you can just let this fly around and track you wherever you go without using anything else, just this. Now, I knew that I would outgrow the DJI Neo pretty quickly, so I ended up going with the Fly More Bundle Kit. And boy, am I ever glad that I went with the Fly More Bundle Kit because it unlocks way more features and capabilities. And I have a total of 3 batteries now, which I am always dipping into when I'm out flying the drone. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's just back up a little bit and talk about the most common way that I fly this, and that is by just using this, the AI tracking system. Now you can choose one of the 6 presets, which are located on the drone itself, and it will take care of the rest. It will lock onto you and track you around. If you want to make any tweaks to how high or how close it follows you, you just go into the app and it makes the changes and it will be immediately updated to the drone. It's very user-friendly and very well laid out. Now, the DJI Neo can take up to 12 megabyte pictures and video all the way up to 4K. And thanks to a firmware update or over-the-air software update, you can now shoot in vertical mode, which comes in very handy to social media. Actually, this is something that wasn't offered before, but DJI realized that this is a feature that should have been added. So it's great to see that DJI is still offering features to the products, even after you've already purchased them. And like I just said, there are 6 presets that are built into the drone itself. I'm going to quickly go over what these 6 presets can do.
Follow, droney, circle, rocket, spotlight, boomerang.
All right, in follow mode, it does exactly what you see here. And you can choose close, medium, far, and low, flat, or high. And in droney mode, the drone is going out from you like this. You can choose from 2 meters all the way up to 10 meters, which is 32 feet. And you can choose the drone to go out in a flat way, or it can go out and rise up from you, like you see in this video. And if you want your distance in feet, that's okay. You can just go to your settings and change it. And in circle mode, the drone will go around you in a circle. And you can choose from a distance of 2 meters all the way up to 20 meters. And you can adjust your height from low to flat. Now remember, the drone doesn't have any obstacle avoidance, so if there is something there, the drone will hit it. Like you can see here, I almost had a bird strike. And in rocket mode, the drone will shoot up just like a rocket above you. You can choose from 4 meters to 10 meters. And if you want to turn the rotation off, you can just click off. In spotlight mode, think of this as a droney just pivoting like a surveillance camera, where it's not really moving. And I like to use this feature when I'm playing basketball. And as far as modes, you can just toggle between photo or video. And finally is a custom mode, where you have 3 different options here. You have helix, like you can see here, and then you have a boomerang effect, which is really cool. The one that I really like is a direction track, where the drone is flying out backwards in front of you, and it is taking a video while you're walking.
Now, if you want more range, well, that is when the remote controller will come in handy. Because by switching over to this from your cell phone, you'll go from 50 meters or 160 feet all the way up to a staggering 10 kilometers. Now, keep in mind, the DJI Neo does have really tiny batteries. And you're only limited to a flight time of around 18 minutes. So you can't actually go 10 kilometers because you have to give yourself enough juice in your battery to get back to home base. But I've seen guys on YouTube that have taken their Neo all the way up to a mile, which is around 1.6 kilometers, I think. Just remember, it can go up to 10 kilometers, but because of the size of the battery, you are limited. When I started using the remote with my drone, I was reminded of what it was like with my remote controls back when I was a kid, with the golden arrow and the iron claw back in the 80s. Man, I miss the 80s. Oh, and when it comes to durability, well, here's that crash that I promised you. I have the footage of it, and the Neo came out without even a scratch.
All right, this was hilarious because I was just telling Luna how I'd never crashed my drone yet. So she just started running as fast as she could, and the drone was doing well. It almost wiped out right here. Then when it reconnects with her, well, that's when we had the problem.
Oh my goodness. Oh, my Neo, are you okay? Where are you? Oh, there it is. Right there. It's upside down. Let's see if it's okay. All right, boys and girls, here she is. Oh. Okay. Looks okay. Let's give her a little TRY. You gonna start? Yep. There you go. I like that. We're good to go.
Now, if you want, you can see other YouTubers putting their little Neo through very rigorous durability tests. But from my experience and from other YouTubers, the little Neo has gotten a reputation so far as being very rugged and durable. And if you're still watching here, feel free to say hi, give me a thumbs up, sub to my channel, or give me a comment. And once again, if you do decide to go with the remote, which I recommend you doing because you will grow using your cell phone pretty quickly, you will be able to fly your drone a lot faster using this compared to just your cell phone. And just like all the videos on my channel, the 2 questions I like to leave here are what tweaks would I like to see to the Neo? And the golden question is, would I buy it again? Alright, so 2 issues that I've already come across with the Neo after using it for a while now. The first one is that when I'm out flying it and I want it to return to my palm, I'll have my palm out like this, and the sensors underneath it think that there's an obstacle. So the Neo will go up, and I'll put my hand up, and the drone will go up again until the drone is just out of my reach. So what I do in this situation, I've coined the phrase, you have to turtle it. So when the drone is like this and before it gets out of your reach, I just grab it, and don't worry about your fingers hitting the props because it's really well guarded here. I just grab the Neo and turtle it, flip it over, and it immediately shuts off, and it works really well. Actually, it's kind of cool. So let's see if DJI will fix this in a future update with a firmware update, or if they ever release a DJI Neo 2.0. But if DJI doesn't fix it, it's not a big deal because it doesn't happen all that very often. And just a quick tip that whenever you're using the Neo and it's returning to your palm, you might want to get in the habit of using 2 hands because I was in a situation once where I was outside over a wall or a cliff and there was some drop off, and the Neo had just landed on my palm, and at the same time some wind came and almost blew it off and would have crashed. So I mean, like, I have a bigger hand than the average, so someone with a smaller hand could even be more of an issue. So that's just something to keep in mind. And the second tweak that I'd like to see made to the Neo is a little issue that I experienced once with it. And I was at a 3rd story lookout spot, and I had released the Neo to go out and come back in. But when I released it, I was right at the wall, and it was like a third story drop off. So I was right at the wall, and when it was coming back in, my hand was like this, but the Neo was like not within reaching distance. So I was standing there like this. I was like, oh crap, what am I gonna do? So luckily I had my cell phone, which I always recommend. Always take your cell phone with you when you're flying the drone for these types of situations. So I just took my phone and brought it in through the controls on the phone. But I also have a little workaround for this situation. So rather than just releasing your drone from right at the edge of a cliff or a wall if there's a drop off, take 2 giant steps back so that when the drone does come back into you, it's coming back in over a surface. So then you can just reach it if it is not within reaching distance. And finally, the golden question is, would I buy this little puppy again? And hands down, absolutely, yes. This has proven already to be one of the best Christmas gifts that I've gotten so far. Now, who is this drone for? Well, it's for people who just don't want to go all out, like me. What I mean is, you can use this little drone in public and you don't have to be worried about people giving the stink eye, because it does kind of put out a toy-like vibe. And rather than people running away from it, they will let you just point at it and call it cute, like I noticed this lady doing. Actually, when I first got this drone, I started practicing with it indoors just to get the feel of it. Try doing that with a normal drone without any prop guards. Good luck. There was a few times where there was paper flying around though. And finally, this little drone could be for someone like me, someone who likes to go biking and hiking and traveling. You don't need anything else, just this. This little fella slides right in your pocket, and you can literally take it out and take a shot within under a minute. There's just nothing to set up, unlike a typical drone. Now, just 2 quick pointers I want to make with the DJI Neo in case they ever do release a 2.0 version of this. The first one is with the memory card. Well, there is none. It has 22 gigs of internal memory, which is all fine and dandy, but if I forget to download the memory before I go to the coffee shop to do some editing, I gotta actually bring this with me. Whereas if they did have a memory card, like most drones, then I could just pop out the memory card and I'd be good to go. And the second thing are sensors. Now the Neo does have sensors on the bottom of it, like I already talked about. It would be nice to see the Neo with some sensors on the side, just for obstacle avoidance. But I know with these types of features, we'd be pushing the Neo well above the $200 price point that it already comes at. Now guys, if you want to take a closer look at anything that I mentioned in this video, I'll have down in the description all the Canadian and American Amazon links, so you can just click on them. It'll take you right over to their website, and it may make your shopping just a little bit easier. Oh, if you want to see the video that I made on the Hololand Lark M2 wireless mic, which is right here, you can click on that video right here. You might like it. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.